another tough theological question for you. Mia asked about influencing other people. And she said, I know we're supposed to influence other people, especially about our faith, but how do we do that? And Mia, you asked a great question. It's not really a tough question to answer, but it is a really tough question to do. The answer to the question is tough to do. There's a fascinating conversation that Jesus has in the Sermon on the Mount. You remember this famous sermon that he preached several chapters in the gospel book, in the Bible book of Matthew. In Matthew chapter 5, he's talking about blessed are the poor in spirit, and he tells us about what the Old Testament law says. Well, you've heard it said in the Old Testament, but I tell you. And then in verse 33 of Matthew chapter 5, he starts talking about taking an oath or swearing a pledge. And I find it interesting that Jesus would talk about swearing a pledge like that. To me, feels like it doesn't really belong there. Of course, we're supposed to be careful when we swear an oath. The Old Testament is incredibly clear about this. It says if you make a vow to other people, you better keep it. But if you make a vow to God, he expects you to keep it. And if you don't keep it, the implication from the Bible is don't be surprised if you fall over dead of a heart attack when nothing physical is happening to you, because you made a vow to a holy God who expects you to keep your word. Matthew chapter 5, verse 33, Jesus starts talking about making a vow. And he basically says, listen, you don't have to make any vows. And then verse 37 is what I want to focus on for just a second. He says, but let your yes mean that yes, and your no answer mean no. And then he adds this phrase. It's incredibly fascinating to me. Anything more than this is from the enemy or from Satan. He's saying, if you have to say, I promise you, yes, I'm going to do it, or I swear to you, no, I didn't do that, or I won't do that. If you have to add anything to the word yes or anything to the word no, that comes directly from Satan. And I just want you to hear, Mia, maybe one of the reasons why Jesus is making this connection between having to qualify your promise with anything other than yes or no is because it says people can't trust your simple one-word answer. And because Jesus says Satan is a liar, the father of all lies is how Jesus refers to him, then anybody who doesn't tell the truth often enough that they have to actually add a phrase into their word yes, or add something into their word no to try to convince people that they really mean it this time, anything other than that proves that you're not a man or a woman of your word. Back to the question, why would Jesus include this conversation in the Sermon on the Mount in the first place? Well, maybe, Mia, it's because this is a small glimpse of what it looks like to influence people. See, Mia, when somebody asks you a question or asks you if you'll do something, you should be the kind of woman that when you say, yep, I'll do it, there is no question in anybody's mind. If Mia said she's going to do it, she's going to do it. And there is no doubt in my mind that Mia will get it done. If Mia said, nope, I'm not going to do that, then the people that know you, everyone in your life should recognize if Mia said no, then the answer is absolutely no. There's no reason to even go back and talk to Mia about it again, because when she says yes, she means it. When she says no, she doesn't have to add anything else to the sentence because she means the word no. And here's what happens next. Let me tell you why I'm using Matthew chapter 5, verse 37 to answer your question, Mia. Because when you have that kind of integrity, when you have that kind of honesty, when you say yes and everybody knows your character, so they know you are absolutely a woman of your word and you are always going to do what you said you were going to do, and then you start talking to people about what you believe and you start telling them why you believe it to be true, no one's going to argue about whether or not you believe that to be true. Nobody is going to argue about whether or not you're trying to trick them, pull the wool over their eyes, because they know Mia, and they know Mia doesn't lie. They know Mia always does what she says, and she is a woman of integrity, and you have proven it by your actions that back up your words. So when you start to have the conversation about your faith, people are saying, well, I don't know if I believe what Mia believes, but I know this. Mia is absolutely 100% trustworthy, and if she's telling me this is true, maybe I need to start thinking about it for myself. Maybe I need to start researching it for myself. And this is where people sit up and take notice to what you say, Mia. If you want to influence people for your faith, you earn their trust, and you earn it day in and day out. And one simple mistake can ruin years worth of hard work to earn somebody's trust. That's why I said this is a tough theological question, and it's not tough to understand the answer. It's just tough to do the answer. So the challenge for me, challenge for you, Mia, challenge for everybody watching this video, be the kind of guy or gal that when you say yes, there is no question in anybody's mind. They're going to do it. When you say no, there is no doubt in anyone's mind. The answer is no. No reason to ask for more information. And then when you start to talk to somebody about what you believe to be true about Jesus, when they start to hear it, they know your character. They know your integrity. And maybe they start to consider, maybe this really is true. So I just want to say thanks for your question. Thanks for asking an honest question, Mia. I hope this gave you something to think about. See you guys later.
I can work with a guy like that.